Hello and welcome to Niche Snacks. Today we're going to be doing another deck brew video. I had this idea for a deck that I'm going to be calling Vanilla Ice Cream, where every creature in the deck is a vanilla creature, which is a magic slang term for a creature with no abilities. There's a couple legendary creatures out there that have no abilities. They're from Legends. None of them are very good. I know that's kind of a weird thing to say about a vanilla creature because are any of them very good? Yeah, some of them are. We're going to start out by looking at all the creatures. We'll start with who I want the commander to be. So this will require a little bit of rule 0 from you talking to the table. If everybody is okay with it, I'm going to be running Fusion Elemental as my commander. It's not a legendary creature, so that's kind of what we have to, talk to the table about. But he is an 8/8 for 5 mana, and he gives us access to all 5 colors, which is great. So we can run any vanilla creature we want. Now, the table has a problem with Fusion Elemental being the commander. I have also picked up a Progenitus, which, I figured, what's the opposite of a vanilla creature? Creature that has protection from everything. That sounds great. So there's a couple different criteria that I used to determine what cards I was going to put in for creatures. I graded them on a scale. The power and toughness has to be greater than twice the converted mana cost. So like a 2/2 for 2, that's a 0. No points. Anything 0 and below got cut from the deck, unless the creature fell into the second category, and this one supersedes the first one of if I think the creature's art is really cool. Then it got ranked a lot higher, and it's probably going in the deck because it's a deck full of vanilla creatures. I'm going to separate these out into piles. Start with ones over here and work our way up. So I'm not sure about all the small creatures. I'm not sure how relevant they're going to be. I might actually end up cutting a couple of them. I was thinking maybe like 25 to 30 creatures. So we want to be pretty creature heavy in this deck, just to kind of showcase all the vanilla creatures. And the whole rest of the deck is going to be supporting the vanilla creatures pretty much. Skin Invasion I'm counting as a creature because the backside is a 3/4, and it's going to be pretty easy. You enchant a creature, it attacks each combat if able, so it's pseudo goaded, and then whenever the enchanted creature dies, you flip this. So it's a 3/4 for 1 mana. It's pretty good. And then everything in this is a 5 and above. These are going to be our heavy hitters. This is where a lot of the beef is coming from. Yargle and Multani, of course, everybody knows Yargle and Multani. It's an 18/6 for 6 mana. It's pretty good. Gigantosaur, it's 10/10 for 5 green mana. That's pretty cool. That's pretty much everything I'm going to say about this deck. All these creatures are fucking massive, and they're pretty cool, right? Quickstrider Ceratops, 12/8 for 6 mana. Holy crap. A 9/7 for 5 mana. Holy crap. We got some beef, right? Nothing really to say other than our creatures are beefy. That's kind of the point in the deck. We're going to be playing big fat creatures for a lot cheaper mana than the rest of our opponents. So this next group of cards are all ones that I really like the artwork on, so they're probably going to end up in the deck no matter how terrible they are. First is Moss Monster. Look at that thing. It's fucking hideous, and it's great. I try to include all of these full art vanilla creatures because I really like them. I think they're super cool. Kobolds at Cure Keep, Forest Bear. The only one of these I think I didn't pick up was the Memnite, because I didn't want to pay $8 for a Memnite, because that's wild. It's Blind Phantasm, Nessian Corsair, Massive Ghouls, Fomori Nomad. Oh wait, oops, don't look at that. So all these, I really like the artwork on these cards. Looks super cool. And then I also picked up a Gark's Gorehorn. I've never seen a creature with like just a completely blank text box in the foil. I don't know, I thought it looked cool. And then this Jedit Ojanen. Yep, that's what it's called. It's a kitty. Psst, look at your big kitty. It's a 5/5 for 7, which sucks. It's not a good one, but it's a kitty. And then, last but not least, there's an Elvish Ranger. It's in here because reasons. Next, we have some adventure cards. They're paired with vanilla creatures. Cheeky House Mouse, Minecart Daredevil, Vantress Transmuter, Garenbrig Carver, Merfolk Secret Keeper, Shepherd of the Flock, Silver Flame Squire, Embereth Shieldbreaker. All 4 of these are decent. They all kind of have fairly minor abilities. I think Embereth Shieldbreaker is probably going to be the best one. Just 1 red mana, sorcery, destroy target artifact. That'll come in handy for sure. It's always problem artifacts in Commander. The Silver Flame Squire will give target creature +2/+2 and untap it at instant speed. It's 3 mana. That part kind of sucks. A 2/1 for 2 also isn't great, but whatever. That's not that bad. Whatever. We will have enough support for a 2/1 for 2 mana that it'll feel better than that. Shepherd of the Flock, you can return a permanent you control to its owner's hand, so we can kind of, what is that one card? Avoid Fate. We can avoid Fate one of our own creatures. I think that's what that is. Let me look that up. Oh no, that's count at target instant or aura spell that targets a permanent you control. I mean, that's also not a bad card. It unsummons one of our creatures. It's going to bounce one of our creatures to keep it out of trouble. Merfolk Secret Keeper. It's going to mill somebody for 4. It's a 0/4 for 1. That one actually might get cut. That's not super great. Milling a random person for 4 cards and then putting out a 0/4, I'm not super wild about. But it's probably the most efficient, it's rated a 2 on our scale, right? It's a 0/4 for 1 mana. The Vantress Transmuter, I think, will probably be one of the better removal spells that we're going to have access to, at least as far as these adventure cards go. It taps target creature and creates cursed roll token that's attached to it. It makes it a 1/1, so we can, 1/1ify one of our opponent's fatties. There's not much more to say about these guys. And then last, we have a couple of sorceries that make vanilla creatures. So token producers will be a part of this deck for sure, because there's plenty of things make tokens, and most tokens don't have any abilities. For Latinus Genesis, you create XXX green ooze creature tokens. So for every number that X goes up, we just create more and more power. It's not going to be a huge mana deck, but late game, if you can dump 5 mana into X, if you have 11 mana just sitting around and nothing better to do with it, making 5/5/5s, that's not nothing. And then Miming Slime, we're going to have some huge creatures, right? I mean, the biggest creature we have in the deck is Yargle and Multani. It's an 18/6. So for 3 mana, we could potentially make an 18/18, and that's if it's only an 18 power when that comes out. And as we'll go through this stack of cards, you'll see it's more than likely going to be larger than 18. So first on the stack, we've got Crackling Perimeter and Amulet of Vigor. The reason why I have those in there is because in this lands pile, I took out all of my gates, so I wasn't sure if that maybe we might want an alternate win con in case somehow our creature plan gets shut down. So just having an alternate win con, something out there for other people to focus on that isn't just our creatures, it's a good one to have. I was also thinking about adding in Tainted Strike and Grafted Exoskeleton. Since our creatures are going to be so freaking huge, just being able to kind of surprise kill an opponent with them might be good. Or, if we get down to us and them and they've got a buttload of life, I think that's probably where we're going to end up in problems, is if somebody is able to just outpace our damage with life gain. Next, I have some ability enablers. Oh, this card's going to be fun. Burning Anger. Enchanted creature has tap. This creature deals damage equal to its power to any target. I mean, we just talked about Infect too. I mean, if you can give them, slap a Burning Anger on it, then give it Infect with the Grafted Exoskeleton, you can just tap your creature and kill an opponent. Then now they're really on a clock. Deadly and Willing and Boros Charm are going to serve the same purpose of being able to give all of our creatures indestructible, just to avoid board wipes and stuff. We're going to have 5 creatures out, but our 5 creatures are going to be bigger than the rest of the power on the board put together. So next, you got some card draw. Thickest in the Thicket. When Thickest in the Thicket enters, you put you put X +1/+1 counters on target creature, where X is that creature's power. And at the beginning of your end step, you draw 2 cards if you control the creature with the greatest power or tied for the greatest power. We're probably going to have the creature with the greatest power among all of our opponents most times, right? even if we're not doubling up counters or anything like that, our creatures are going to be huge. This will almost guaranteed draws 2 cards every turn. Garruk's Uprising, Tamir Ascendancy, and Elemental Bond, all kind of serving the same purpose of whenever a creature with a specific power, in this case it's 4 here and 3 here, enters, then you draw a card. Garruk's Uprising also has the added benefit of giving all of our creatures trample. Tamir Ascendancy also gives the added benefit of giving all of our creatures haste. And Elemental Bond just draws this card, but that's okay. Drawing cards is good. We need more gas, and turning all of our creatures into cantrips is really good for us. Primal Empathy. At the beginning of your upkeep, you draw a card if you control the creature with the greatest power among creatures on the battlefield. Otherwise, you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control. So it's either going to draw us a card on our upkeep, or it's going to put a +1/+1 counter on a creature we control. Either way, it's a win-win for us. So I wasn't sure about Fists of Suns. I had it in there, like, thinking of Progenitus. It'll have the cost of our Progenitus. At the same time, the rest of our creatures, they can be a little mana hungry. I mean, just thinking of Gigantosaurus again, it costs 5 green mana symbols. 5! So being able to turn that into 1 mana of each color is actually better, because then we can have a more diverse mana base and not have to focus so hard on green. But this deck is mainly green-white. It's kind of splashing the other 3 colors. Along with the gate plan, I've got Open the Gates and Circuitous Routes. We'll go get us more gates because we need them. Especially grab the 1 gate that lets our gates come into play untapped. I think it's Gond Gate. That's the one you want to grab. Temp with Discovery also will get us more gates. Now we're going to get into our Tramplers. This is where it's going to get gross. First off, we've got Temur Battle Rage. It's an instant, 1 and a red. Target creature gains double strike till end of turn, and Ferocious, that creature also gains trample till end of turn if you control a creature with power 4 or greater. That's pretty likely among all the creatures that we're going to have. I think this might end up feeling a bit more like a gotcha than anything, but it'll be good. It's good in the deck. If it feels too bad, I'll take it out. The Reaver Cleaver is an equipment for 2 and a red. The equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, you create that many treasure tokens. It'll smooth out our mana. Our creatures are huge. They're going to get trample, and they're going to smash the shit out of our opponents and make us a lot of extra mana. Embercleave. This card is awesome. If you've never played with an Embercleave, it has flash, and it costs 1 less to cast for each attacking creature you control, so you can flash it out in the middle of combat, and when it enters the battlefield, you automatically attach it to a creature you control, so you don't have to pay the equip cost on the first one. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has double strike and trample. You see why that's good. I don't have to explain more. Rancor gives trample. Armadillo Cloak gives trample and lifelink, and +2/+2. Leyline Axe gives +1/+1 double strike and trample. Vorak Battlehorns, trample, can't be blocked by more than 1 creature. Good luck blocking my huge fucking creatures. Sword of Vengeance, +2/+0, first strike, vigilance, trample, and haste. Rockstone Warhammer, +3/+0, lifelink and trample. Gross. All of them disgusting. Next, we've got some reanimate cards. Torrent of Souls, that'll reanimate a creature for us and give all of our creatures +2/+0 and haste. So we'll swing with the creature we just reanimated. Unburial Rites is a reanimation spell with flashback, so we can do it twice. Eerie Ultimatum, that'll reanimate our entire graveyard. Reanimate, we'll reanimate 1 thing, but we're going to lose some life. That's okay. Victimize, we're gonna have some smaller creatures, some 3/3s for 2, that sort of stuff. Later in the game, when we draw those, we can use them to sacrifice to Victimize to bring back our fatties that died earlier in the game. Now we've got some tutors, Court of Calling and Finale of Devastation and Green Sun Zenith, kind of all matching. Search your library for a creature and put it directly into play. Green Sun Zenith can only grab green creatures, but the vast majority of our creatures are going to be green. And being able to circumvent some of the mana costs of our creatures, so like Gigantosaurus and the other big dinosaurs all cost like 3 green mana pips. If we don't have the 3 green mana pips and they're still in our deck, we can use Green Sun Zenith, go dig them out. Yeah, it'll cost us 1 more mana overall, but I'm still digging out a huge 10/10 for 6 mana. It's pretty good. Now we've got some token producers. Feldar Retreat will make us a 2/2 vanilla white cat beast every landfall, and if we have enough creatures, we can give them all of our creatures +1/+1 counters and vigilance until end of turn. Deploy to the front. It's going to make X 1/1 white soldier creature tokens, where X is the number of creatures on the battlefield. So if one of our opponents is flooding out on creatures and just going as wide as possible, we can kind of catch up with that with Deploy the Front, and with the rest of the deck hopefully be able to capitalize on having a bunch of creatures, better, more than they could capitalize on having a bunch of creatures. Kind of same thing with Increasing Devotion, go wide strategy, 5/1/1s for 5 mana, you flash it back, make 10/1/1s for 9 mana. Primeval Bounty will kind of feel like Feldar Retreat, where the landfall is going to make us a 3/3. Oh no, sorry, it's whenever we cast a creature spell, we make a 3/3, and then the landfall will gain us 3 life. And then whenever we cast a non-creature spell, we put 3+1/+1 counters on a creature we control. This thing's pretty sweet. I've actually never used Primeval Bounty before, but it looks like it's going to be awesome. Azuri's Predation will kind of serve as a pseudo board wipe. It'll kill everything with 4 toughness and under, and it'll also create us a bunch of tokens, and hopefully some of them will survive. Liliana Dreadhorde General will make us a 2/2 zombie every turn. It also has the add benefit of whenever our creature we control dies, we get to draw a card. So we can get some extra card draw, make some 2/2s. The -9 is pretty brutal too. Each opponent chooses a permanent they control of each permanent type and then sacrifices the rest. So that'll put them down to 1 land, which is disgusting if we ever make it to the -9. I don't imagine our opponents will really let us, but who knows. Mystic Reflection. So I had this in the John deck that I showcased a few weeks ago, and I ended up taking it out because it wasn't that good. But with this deck, if we're making a bunch of tokens, and then we can turn all of those tokens into our huge, fat, enormous creatures. Now, a good amount of our creatures are legendary, but some of them aren't. Like, I know I keep hammering Gigantosaurus, but Gigantosaurus is not a legendary creature. It's a 10/10 for 5 mana, and if we make 5/1/1s and then we have a Mystic Reflection to go, actually, just kidding, we're making 5 10/10s. Like, I don't think I have to explain why that's good either. Call the Coppercoats. Just another way to make a bunch of creatures. Artifact Mutation and Aura Mutation make us 1/1 Saprolings. Artifact Mutation destroys an artifact, and Aura Mutation destroys an enchantment. It's always problem enchantment and artifacts in Commander. For sweepers, we do have a lot of sweepers in the deck. Necromantic Selection, Ingarg's Wake. Aurelia's Fury will be good because it'll either kill all of the creatures we needed to kill, or it'll tap down every creature on an opponent's board and give us a chance to swing in for the win. Dune Blast, we get to keep the thing that we want while everybody else loses all of their creatures. Utter End is our Silver Bullet, exile target non-land permanent. Just get rid of anything on the board that we've got a problem with. Ruinous Ultimatum, asymmetrical, board wipe, destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. I also am going to include some fling mechanics, so Kazuul's Fury, Thud, and Fling, all of them do the same thing where we sacrifice a creature and deal damage equal to its power to target any target for the most part. I think one of them is just player target. Nope, any target. All of them are any target. Chandra's Ignition, kind of the same deal, where we can just have one creature we control deal damage equal to its power to each other creature and each opponent. So they won't dome us. Also, if we give them Infect and then Chandra's Ignition, we can kill the whole table with that. Chaos Warp, Silver Bullet, get rid of any problem. Just a straight Wrath of God. Phyrexian Rebirth will make us a creature when we destroy everything. So I decided to include a bunch of Anthem-like effects. So the grossest of them all, of course, is Cathar's Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, you put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Now, we're not going infinite with this, but we are going to make a lot of creatures, hopefully with token production or just playing them out of our hand. And buffing all of our creatures when we play them is a good thing, especially since we have things like Primal Empathy, which are going to draw us cards when we have the largest creature on the board. So we want to really make sure we have the largest creature on the board. Glorious Anthem gives all creatures +1/+1. Unnatural Growth is going to be disgusting. At the beginning of each combat, double the power and toughness of each creature you control until end of turn. Again, I keep going back to Yargul and Multani. It's an 18/6. Well, now it's a, 36/12? Gross. Communal Brewing. When it enters, you can have any number of target opponents each draw a card, and then you put an ingredient counter on Communal Brewing. Then you put an ingredient counter on it for each card drawn this way. So when it comes into play, if we have 3 opponents, we make them each draw a card. So Communal Brewing will come in with 3 counters for all of our opponent's drawing a card, plus an additional one for just casting it, so I'll have 4. And then it says whenever you cast a creature spell, that creature enters with X additional 1/1 counters on it, where X is the number of ingredient counters on Communal Brewing. So this will only count for the creatures that we cast out of our hands. Any token production stuff, this isn't going to affect them at all, but we are going to be running, 25 to 30 creatures. So putting 4 additional 1/1 counters on them when they come into play, it's going to be really good, especially for our, 3 2s for 2 mana. Now they're 7 6s for 2 mana. Anthem of Champions, just a green and a white. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Beastmaster Ascension, giving all of our creatures +5/+5. Force of Virtue has Flash, and you can exile a white card from your hand instead of paying its mana cost, so it's almost a free spell, and all of your creatures get +1/+1. Gaia's Anthem. Glory Warfare, as long as it's your turn, your creatures get +2/+0, and as long as it's not your turn, your creatures get +0/+2, so it'll give us a little more attacking power on our turn and a little more blocking power on our opponent's turns. Dictate of Heliod gives all of our creatures +2/+2. Ethereal Absolution, creatures you control get +1/+1. Of creatures your opponents control get -1/-1, and you can pay 2, a white and a black, exile target creature from an opponent's graveyard. If it was a creature card, you make a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token with flying. It's a little wordy. It's got a lot of stuff on it. It does a lot of things. It does cost 6 mana. I'm not wild about making a creature token that has an ability on it, so I almost cut this card immediately because of that, but the other parts of it, like our creatures getting +1/+1 and our opponent's creatures getting -1/-1, is pretty good. So I haven't decided on that. This one might get cut. Muruganda Petroglyphs, creatures with no abilities get +2/+2. So all of our creatures are vanilla. They have no abilities. All the tokens we're creating have no abilities. So this will give them all +2/+2. It's a little bit of a non-bow because we do have a lot of stuff in the deck that gives our creatures abilities, but usually they're like single things like equipment. So this only gives one creature trample. So the Muruganda Petroglyphs won't affect it once it's equipped with a Loxodon Warhammer, but it'll still affect all the other creatures in play. Flowstone Surge, creatures you control get +1/-1. This one can be a little dangerous if we don't have another Anthem effect in play, because we do make a lot of 1/1s with certain things, so this could kill all of those, but it is a 2 mana Anthem effect, so I thought it was worth an include. Spear of Heliod, creatures you control get +1/+1, and then you can pay 1 and 2 white, tap it, and destroy target creature that dealt damage to you this turn. We got to take a hit from a creature to destroy it, but it is a little bit of removal. Now we got our lands. Like I said before, the lands are not going to be too exciting. I just pulled out some basics and a couple other things. Hideaway lands like Spine Rock Knoll, any rainbow land like Command Tower. Slayer Stronghold gives target creature +2/+0 and Vigilance and Haste, so we can swing in with something that we just played. Mosswort Bridge. It's a hideaway and it triggers off of us having creatures with total power 10 or greater. That'll happen. Castle Garenbrig is actually a bit of a mana ramp because we can filter 2 generic mana and 2 green into it and then create 6 green. So it adds 1 mana, it turns 5 mana into 6. And it is 6 green, and we have a lot of green pips. So Castle Garenbrig I think is going to be really good for us. Rogue's Passage, making one of our creatures unblockable this turn, and we have huge fucking creatures with Trample and Double Strike. And I am missing a gate as well that I need to pick up. It's one of these ones that you choose a color and it taps for one color that's printed on the card and one that you chose. I don't have the black one. I need to go pick that one up. But we'll get that one eventually. But I have all the other gates. So I guess let's start with the lands since we have them out right now. So it should be 21 because of that one gate that we're missing. I think we're going to be running some higher mana spells. Our curve's going to be a bit higher than a normal commander deck. So we're probably going to want to run like 36-ish lands. That's my guess, 36 to 38. 36, 37, 38. 38 lands. All right. Got our lands squared away. Let's figure out what creatures we're going to keep. So right now we've got 1, 2, 3, 1, 42, 43, 44. We got 44 creatures right now, so we do need to make some cuts. I'm probably going to be cutting from the lower end of stuff. I think probably all of these adventure cards, unless there's a real good reason not to include any of them. I think I might actually remove the Vantress Transmuter, making a creature a 1/1. I'm not really worried about turning a creature into a 1/1. If it made it lose all of its abilities, I'd be more into it. But just making it a 1/1, I'm not that worried. Like, most creatures aren't going to be big enough to block our creatures anyways, so making them a 1/1 I don't think is a huge thing. The Merfolk Secret Keeper, I just don't think there's a reason for us to want to mill our opponents for 4 cards as a sorcery. Shepherd of the Flock is good. Being able to untap our creature is good, and then destroying an artifact. I like that removal. That's good flexibility on a creature. Let's get rid of those ones. Now, as far as the cool art cards go, I think I am actually going to cut Jedit. 7 mana 5/5 is just so bad. No matter how cool the art is, I mean, it is really cool. But goddamn, 7 mana 5/5. We're just so much better than that now. Definitely keeping Elvish Ranger because reasons. We can probably cut Garruk's Gorehorn. It is really cool. I do like the just completely blank text box. Nah, I don't know. Maybe we'll keep it around for a little while. I want to keep all of the full art cards. I think are really cool. Moss Monster, also really cool looking. Gotta keep that. Maybe we'll cut the Kobolds. I think 0/1 is always going to be underwhelming no matter what. I feel like almost everything we play needs to have at least 3 power. Definitely keeping these high level ones. Skin Invasion. I'm not sure how reliable it's going to be for that creature to die and for us to flip the Skin Evasion, especially if we're digging our library for a creature card. We don't want to see Skin Invasion because it's not a creature right away. So I think for that reason, we're going to cut it, even though it is super efficient, and a 3/4 for 1 mana is pretty wild. I think we're going to cut a lot of the 0 power stuff, so like Aegis Turtle. A 0/5 is great for 1 mana. I understand how efficient it is, but not having power to attack with, that's really what we want to be doing, is punching our opponents. Same with Isamaru, man. I don't know if I'm going to keep that either. It's 2/2 for 1 mana. 2 power is just not great. 1/5 also, same thing. We want to be attacking. 3 power, 3 power, 9 power. These are 2/3s, especially both of them are, pretty mana intensive. 3/2, 4/1. Cut the 1/4. 3/3. All right, let's see where that leaves us. Cut all this stuff without 3 power. 31. We got 31 creatures. Let's go through them again and see if we can find some more fat to trim. Anything that we just don't like. We're going to be looking at a lot of the big butt creatures. And as much as I don't want to, we're probably going to have to take a look at these guys for cuts, because they're just not that good. Coming in at under 3 power, we've got Blind Phantasm and the Forest Bear, both 2s. If we cut both of those, that puts us down to 29 creatures. The Moss Monster, 3/6 for 5. I think we're going to cut that as well. I think that's going to end up being pretty underwhelming. I'll probably cut both of those. God damn, and I just bought the Indomitable Ancient. The thing was like $6. Ridiculous. All right, that's good. 26 creatures. And we have token producers as well. So let's take a look at our token producers. We've got Gelatinous Genesis and Miming Slime. Those are going to make humongous creatures. Our Artifact Mutation and Aura Mutation are removal, along with creature token creation. Mystic Reflection is going to make the tokens that we create into humongous tokens, as long as we already have that creature in play. We're looking for utility in our token creators. We don't want it to just make tokens. We want it to make tokens and do something else. So like these two being able to destroy a permanent, that's a problem for us, and then also make us tokens. So we're slowing down our opponents and advancing our board state in the same turn. March of the Multitudes is one that just makes creature tokens, so I think that one is probably worth a cut. Liliana Dreadhorde General, making us a token every turn, and then turning our creatures dying into card draw. We're not sacking creatures to gain value in any other way. It's not an Aristocrats deck, it's a big stompy creature deck. So the only way our creatures are dying is if our opponents are board wiping. I don't know. I'm gonna cut Liliana. I think I'm good with this for right now. I don't see anything else that I want to cut. So for ramp, we've got a Cultivate and a Rampant Growth to go get basic lands. Temp with Discovery will grab us all of our, non-basics. We can grab all of the gates and stuff like that. Same with Circuitous Route. It'll get us 2 gates. Open the gates, also get us a gate. Specifically with these ones that'll grab us gates or any type of land, we definitely want to make sure we're grabbing Gaunt Gate, because that'll make all of our gates come into play untapped, and that is a huge benefit to us. I've got a Chromatic Lantern in here, and Starting Column and Commander Sphere. So use this 9, 12. I think 12 is fine, especially if we're playing 38 lands, because that gives us exactly 50 cards. Boom, here's half the deck. Now, that being said, this is half the deck. How many creatures do we have again? 28? Fuck, I don't remember what. 26. We have 26 creatures. Okay, so we only have 23 slots left. So the rest of our deck has to be pretty fucking efficient. We want all of our stuff to be a little bit better. Just these regular give your creature +1/+1 anthem effects, I don't think we want to run those ones. We want it to be a little bit better than that. We didn't include a ton of token creation, so Communal Brewing is going to be better. A Natural Growth is really good. Cather's Crusade, because we don't have a lot of token, we're not going wide. We don't have a lot of token creation. God, Cather's Crusade is just so good. How can I cut it? Nah, we're keeping it in. With the Petroglyphs, Dictate, Glory, Beastmaster Ascension, Brewing, good. Okay, I think that's good for Anthem effects. 7 Anthem effects. It's pretty dope. Alright, so I think we want our sweepers to be more asymmetrical. I think we are. I mean, we're not a big mana deck, but we're gonna be going big. So like Ruinous Ultimatum and Ingark's Wake, Necromantic Selection. It's 3 good sweepers that are going to put us in a very favorable position after they resolve. Same with Dune Blast. And Aurelia's Fury is flexible in the X spell cost. So we can, tap down 1 or 2 things, or we can tap down the whole board if we have the mana for it. I think Day of Judgment can get removed along with like Wrath of God. Just the straight board wipers. Since we've got these, Phyrexian Rebirth will destroy the board, and then I get a huge creature. XX, where X is the number of creatures destroyed this way. Yeah, I like that. It's a lot of sweepers. Are we really going to run that many? I think that's probably too many. I think we should cut Dune Blast. And targeted removal, we've got Chaos Warp, Swords to Plowshare, Path. Also an Utter End in here. Chandra's Ignition, I think for sure goes in the deck. Same with the Fling and Thud, I think are too good not to run. I'm definitely running Elemental Bond and Garruk's Uprising, because that turns all of our creatures, and Tamir Ascendancy, because that turns pretty much all of our creatures into cantrips. Return of the Wild Speaker is just going to draw us a shitload of cards. Fuck it. We're going to keep Primal Empathy, because I run Phyrexian Arena in decks, and that does 1 card on my upkeep, but it is a guarantee that I'm drawing that 1 card. This is not a guarantee, but I feel like we're going to have the biggest creature, so I want to play it and just see if it's good or not first before I decide to cut it. I think Angel's Trumpet, Helm of the Host can get cut. Same with Warstorm Surge. I wasn't sold on Warstorm Surge. It's just a lot of mana to cast a Warstorm Surge and then continue to cast creatures after that. So it almost takes like a whole turn to cast the Warstorm Surge, and then you got to wait another turn cycle to start casting creatures into the Warstorm Surge, and that feels bad. Burning Anger, I think for sure makes the deck. I think the Crackling Perimeter and Amulet of Vigor. Amulet of Vigor I'm going to cut. Crackling Perimeter I'm going to keep in for sure. Crafted Exoskeleton and Tainted Strike we want. Oxidon Warhammer, it's equipment. 3 to cast, 3 to equip, which I'm not wild about. It's a lot of mana investment, but it does give Trample and Lifelink. Sword of Vengeance, also a 3 to cast, 3 to equip. Gives First Strike, Vigilance, Trample, Haste, and +2/+0. We want Leyline Axe, because that gives Double Strike and Trample, and +1/+1. If it's in our opening hand, we get to cast it for free, which is great. It's like all the other Leyline stuff. Otherwise, it's a 4-drop. And then 3 to equip, but it gives Double Strike and Trample, which is disgusting, and I'm willing to pay 7 mana in 1 turn for that. Same with the Ember Cleave, Double Strike and Trample, and +1/+1. It's really gross. Also 3 to equip, and it'll be cheaper to cast. Reaver Cleaver is going to give us mana, so for sure that's going in. Black Battle Horns, trample and can't be blocked by more than one creature. Rancor is just a cheap source of trample as well, and it's reusable because if the thing that it's on dies, the Rancor goes back to our hand. And then Temur Battle Rage gives trample and double strike. It is only one source of it though, which I think because it's only a one shot with the Temur Battle Rage, I'm going to cut it because it's just not quite efficient enough. I think this is going to be the most important kind of package along with our Anthem effects stuff. That's already 24 cards. We don't have room for anything else. Okay, so we're going to have to really get down and make some hard cuts. We can't beat the Vorak Battle Horns. It's 2 to drop, 1 to equip. It's the cheapest that we have of all of those effects to give trample. I'm okay keeping the Vorak Battle Horns and the Rancor. These 3 are too good not to run. The problem is these are all really good cards and our creatures suck, so they don't make up for it, but I think cutting those 3 is the way to go. Let's go really take a hard look at what we've got in here. Our natural growth is going to give us the most bang for our buck because our creatures are already huge, and making them double huge is even better. +5/+5 is nothing to shake a stick at. Communal Brewing is +4/+4. Glory of Warfare is not good enough. +2/+2. These are all great. I think let's get rid of Increasing Devotion. I think we need to get rid of Cathar's Crusade. I really do. We're not going wide with tokens. That's where Cathar's Crusade really shines. Let's get rid of it. Fuck it. Because we're not running those token producers, Mystic Reflection is not going to be nearly as cool. Feldar Retreat. We're not a landfall deck, so we're not going to be taking advantage of Feldar Retreat as much as we could be. We do have a couple land rampers, but I don't think it's enough for Feldar Retreat to really shine. I'm going to cut it. I'm really kind of considering cutting Dictate of Heliod. 5 mana for +2/+2 is not super great. The Muraganda Petroglyphs also kind of seems bad right now because we're not going wide with tokens, and I feel like that's where Muraganda Petroglyphs really comes in clutch. So yeah, I'm going to cut that too. It feels weird, but I'm cutting it. Our spaces are too limited, and +2/+2 is not good enough to make the cut, which feels weird, but it's true. Let's look through some of the removal. Chandra's Ignition, I think for sure is getting in the deck. We maybe don't need Fling and Thud. We've got Kazul's Fury, which is MDFC, so it's a land on the other side, on top of being a 3 mana Fling, which is kind of shitty. It's a 3 mana Fling, but I'm not that worried about it. Having the flexibility of being a land on the other side is actually insanely good. So I think I'm going to try to keep Fling in the deck. I'm going to cut Thud. All of our card draw needs to be in the deck for sure. We can't really cut much of this, if any. I really want to fit Tainted Strike and Grafted Exoskeleton. Same with Crackling Perimeter. Because all of our creatures are vanilla creatures and they don't have any sort of effects, we really need to make sure that everything else we have in the deck is like super efficient and really serves a purpose. Boros Charm and Ready Willing, I think, are also includes that need to make it in the deck. For targeted removal, Chaos Warp and Silver Bullet cards. Just target, just get rid of any target. Get the shit out of here. Tired of looking at it. It's causing problems. I don't need it in my life. Court of Calling, Finale of Devastation, and Green Sun Zenith, all being able to go dig a creature out of our library is pretty good. We're not making a bunch of tokens, so Convoke on Court of Calling really isn't going to mean much. I think I'm actually going to cut Court of Calling and Green Suns and just keep the Finale of Devastation, because if we can get it up to 10, we'll make all our creatures even huger and dump a vanilla creature into play for free and give them all haste. Okay, where does that leave us now? 6, 7, 3, 8. 38. And we needed to get down to 24, I think. It's 23. We had to get to 23. Yikes. We're at 38, which means we need to cut 15 cards. I'm going to cut the Evolving Wilds and the Terramorphic Expanse. We're going to go down to 36 lands. I don't know if that's right, but we're going to try it. And the Chromatic Orrery. I am also going to drop a Mountain for the Kazul's Fury, and I'm not going to drop a Forest for the Colony Ambush. So I guess we'll go to 37 lands. 4, 74. I leaving me with 26 slots left. We had 38 here, so we need to cut 12 cards. 12 cards, let's cut Aurelia's Fury. Actually, no, fuck that. We're not going to cut Aurelia's Fury. Let's cut Phyrexian Rebirth and then Necromantic Selection. I guess we don't need sweepers in this deck. Sweepers are for suckers. I think I'm going to cut the Finale of Devastation just because getting up to 12 mana I don't think is going to be a thing that we do super often. I think I'm going to cut our One Ring Proxy. Get that out of here. I'm going to cut Aurelia's Fury too. Fuck it. I think I'm going to cut Fling. We have the land in there that flings. I don't know that we want more than one fling. Maybe we drop Tainted Strike as well and just leave in Grafted Exoskeleton. So there's one source of infect in the deck and we can't. Tainted Strike would feel more like a gotcha. So, you know, we're swinging in with a huge creature and somebody's like, well, I can survive that one attack, so I'm not going to block it this time. And you're like, haha, surprise, Tainted Strike, now you're dead. That kind of feels crappy. I want people to like playing against my decks. I'm going to cut Prismatic Geoscope. Bring us down to 10 pieces of ramp. 37 lands. So we need to cut 2 more cards. Maybe we can cut a creature. No, can't cut Elvish Ranger. That's crazy. I think I am going to cut this Colonian Tusker. It's a 3/3 for 2 green. But we need to cut 1 more card, and we're going to cut it out of here. I'm going to cut Victimize. Okay, I think that's the deck. So let's try sleeving it up, and we'll see where we get. Whew. Look at those cuts. Holy smokes. Seven. All right. That's actually not a bad hand. We've got 3 lands, 2 rocks, and an Unburial Rites for when we inevitably draw a creature. So let's keep this. We'll see how this goes. Turn 1. Ooh, open the gates. That's not bad at all. And we don't have any lands that come into play untapped, so what we are going to do probably is play this Golgari Guildgate, and we'll pass a turn. Our opponents already know we're playing gates. That kind of sucks, but that's okay. Then we're going to play this Open the Gates, and we're going to search our library for a basic land card or a gate card, reveal it, put it in our hand, and then shuffle. And we're going to grab, hey, look at that. We cut right to it. Gone Gate. Gates we control enter the battlefield untapped, and that's going to be our land for the turn. There. Draw for our next turn. An Embercleave. Okay, cool. We don't have a creature to put it on yet, but that's okay. We are going to play this Manor Gate, and we are going to name red. Red is a color we don't have any access to yet, and we're going to need it for Fusion Elemental and Embercleave eventually. And then for 3 mana, well, I guess actually it doesn't really matter because we're going to play Chromatic Lantern, and then our lands can tap for a mana of any color. Untap, upkeep, draw. Colony Ambush. That's pretty cool. Let's play this Swamp, and then for 5 mana, we can cast Fusion Elemental. Draw. Let's play the Exotic Orchard. We can do a couple of things here. We can either play the starting column to start our engines, which, I mean, that part doesn't really matter. It's mostly in there to be a mana rock. And then Colony Ambush and have our Fusion Elemental fight something to get rid of it and then be able to attack with it. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. I'm going to play a starting column, starting our engines at 1. We're going to have Fusion Elemental fight something that'll make it clear for us to swing in and attack that person. That's good for this turn. Gross. Man, we still haven't drawn any creatures, huh? Well, I guess that's going to be part of this deck too, right? We don't have a ton of card draw, and if we don't draw any creatures, we just don't have creatures to cast. It just kind of is what it is. So we're going to scare the shit out of everybody, and we're going to play Grafted Exoskeleton and equip it to Fusion Elemental. And then we're going to swing at somebody for 10 Infect. If they don't have anything to deal with it, then it just hits, and that's gross. Fist of Suns. I mean, we're going to swing in with the Fusion Elemental again, and then flash in an Embercleave and Embercleave onto the Fusion Elemental. So now the Fusion Elemental is getting +3/+3, Infect, Double Strike, and Trample. So that's just going to kill everybody eventually. If they don't deal with it, they're fucking dead. That's pretty cool, right? Right, everyone? So let's say we killed one person with that. Hey, we actually got another creature. Holy shit. How much can we Gelatinous Genesis for? 1, 2, 3. We can only X's 3. So we probably want to wait a little bit longer on that. There's not really anything else for us to do. At this point, I wouldn't want to cast any creatures just in case somebody decides to get rid of Fusion Elemental with a board wipe. Tap up, keep, draw. Hey, look at that. And we'll kill another person. So we've killed all 3 players now. Good goldfish. Let's try that again. See if we can get one with more creatures where we don't have to rely on our commander. Yeah, if we didn't have our Infect thing there, I'm not sure that we would have had much of a game. I think we would have had one threat out and it would have gotten dealt with pretty handily, especially that early in the game. Somebody would have had, anything to deal with it. Any targeted removal, anything to stop that from happening. I think we would have got stuffed on that one. This is definitely going to be a deck that is pretty easy to stop, but if you don't stop it, it's going to steamroll you. What we might do in a later build is maybe ditch some of the lower drop creatures, like all the 3 powered stuff for 2 mana, and add in more of the token producers. There we go. There's a little more variety. All right. Let's keep this hand. That's not a bad hand at all. We got 3 lands, a rock, a 2-drop creature, a way to keep all our stuff alive, and then some removal attached to another creature. Hey, let's play this Citadel Gate, and I'm going to name red, because that is a color we do not have access to right now, outside of the commander sphere. Now we're kind of in a spot where our deck is a little bit slower than everybody else's, because all this shit's going to come into play tapped, except for the plains. We can't actually play the Gibbonic Omnivore on turn 2 because I named red with the Citadel Gate. So we're going to play this Golgari Guild Gate tapped. And we might blow up if somebody played like a turn 1 Soul Ring like an asshole and got ahead of everybody. Let's blow it up. Let's get rid of that. And this dude's on an adventure now, so I'm going to stick him right there. Tap up, keep, draw. Other end. Alright. Let's see. Let's play this Simic Guild Gate tapped. And then we will play Gibberic Omnivore. Turn 3/3/2. It's not terrible. Leatherback Baloth. We can almost play that. Play Plains. Let's do these 3 for Command Sphere. So next turn we could play the Leatherback Baloth. 2 mana up though. We can't do much with anything else. See if we can get in somewhere for 3. Garruk's Uprising. Interesting. Now that, I think, is something I would rather play first. We're going to take a whole turn off, which sucks. So we only have 5 mana right now. And if we play this Garruk's Uprising, we're going to take an entire turn off because all we have is the mana to play that and then pass. We can't do anything else. But with where we're at right now, I think that's probably our best option. I don't think we have anything else. We just got no gas, man. There's nothing else in this deck. So let's play the Garruk's Uprising and pass. And then for our next turn, Communal Brewing. Again, I don't want to play the Communal Brewing because it's going to hose us on mana. We need to get going. We got to get something going. So in lieu of that, we're gonna pay 5, and we're gonna cast this Garruk's Gorehorn. When it ETBs, we're gonna draw a card. Ooh, sick. We got a land for the turn. Mountain. No haste or anything. This is a 3/2 with trample, and it's a 7/3 with trample because of the Garruk's Uprising. So let's go to our next turn. Slime. Okay, so now we can play 2/3 drops, potentially. The Communal Brewing will make all subsequent creatures we play get huger. But do we have the 4 green mana sources? I don't think so. We've only got 3 right here. And this makes white-red. What we should do is play the Communal Brewing, have have our 3 opponents draw a card, and then it's gonna get 4 brewing counters on it, or whatever the fuck they are. An ingredient counter. So it's gonna get 4 ingredient counters on it, and then we are going to cast Miming Slime and make a 7/7. It doesn't get the counters from the Communal Brewing, because the Communal Brewing only triggers when you cast a creature spell, and we cast a sorcery spell to make a creature token. So it's not going to get huge, but we'll pretend this is our slime. When that slime ETBs, we are going to draw a card off the Garruk's Uprising. We're not going to play it as the land, our land drop for the turn. Let's draw Cheeky House Mouse. Okay, so we're going to go 3 green to play the Leatherback Bailoff. When it ETBs, it's going to get 4 +1/+1 counters because of Communal Brewing, and then we're going to draw a card off the Garruk's Uprising, which is a Boros Guildgate, which will be our land for the turn. Yeah, there's nothing we can really do other than just swinging in for whatever, 7, 14. Like, yeah, we've been attacking with these creatures every turn if we can, right? That's kind of how that works. Circuitous Route. There we go. That's a magic card. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, that's 4 mana. Green for Circuitous Route. I'm going to go get 2 gates, which obviously one of them is going to be Gond Gate. This specifically puts them onto the battlefield tapped. Baldur's Gate, you pay 2 mana and tap it and add X mana of any one color, where X is the number of gates you control. And we currently control 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates. So you can turn 3 mana into 6 mana. It's only one color though, which kind of sucks, but our one color is probably going to be green. Let's cast this guy from the Adventure Zone, and then also send Cheeky House Mouse on an adventure and give our Bailoff +1/+1, and it can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater this turn. So if they don't have some small creatures out, we're going to swing in for 9 right there, and then there's some 7s there. And even if they do have the small creatures, they have trample because of Garruk's Uprising, so if they're going to block with some small creatures, they're still going to trample over. Keep drawing. Elemental Bond, huh? Oh, also, sorry, I forgot. The Embereth Shieldbreaker, it came into play because we did cast it. Right? It doesn't say cast from your hand. No, whenever you cast a creature spell. So we did cast that spell, so it comes into play with 4 +1/+1 counters on it, and we should have drawn a card off the Garruk's Uprising. Cool. And then we'll play our Manor Gate as our land for the turn, and we'll name, I don't know, black. Let's go ahead and cast this Elemental Bond. So we'll draw 2 cards every time a creature comes into play now, pretty much. I'll cast the Cheeky House Mouse for 1 white here. It'll come into play with 4 +1/+1 counters on it. I'm going to draw 2 cards. Yeah, and then I think from this point, we're kind of hitting our play creatures attack plan, right? So we're just going to start playing creatures and swinging with them. And every time we play a creature, we're going to draw 2 cards. Because with this Communal Brewing, the creatures enter with the 1/1 counters already on them. So it'll trigger both the Elemental Bond and the Garruk's Uprising to draw us a card. Even if you played a creature with 0 power, we would still draw those cards because they would get the 4 1/1 counters. I think that's pretty rad. I think we're good there. All right. I think those were both pretty good examples of how the deck is going to play, especially the second game. The second game is going to be more like what you are going to see from the deck if you decide to try this. It's just going to be a lot of big stupid creatures attacking and crashing in and beating the shit out of our opponents. And it's probably going to start slow and work up to something crazy. This is pretty slow for a regular game of Commander. Like, this might be able to compete with a pre-con or 2, but I don't think this is, it's nowhere near a 4. I don't think it's a 3 either. I think we're like bottom of the barrel 2 status with this deck, which isn't bad. I was kind of aiming for a 1. I think we're probably a little more efficient than a level 1 deck, but maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll get a couple games in with it. We'll see if we can play a couple lower power games here and there, and we'll try it out. I think it will be really fun to play. And every once in a while, when you get those crazy turns and stick somebody with a bunch of infect, It'll be pretty fun. All right. Well, I think that's it for the video this time. Please rate, review, subscribe, turn on the notifications, do all that fun stuff. But more importantly, if you like the video and you enjoy what I'm saying, share it with a friend. Send it to them. Copy, paste that link in a text message. Just blast it through your whole contacts list. I know you can do it. I believe in you. All right. Have a good day. Bye.